Sylvia, over to you.
David, can we have the PPT?
Yes, we can. I'm just organizing myself. Sorry, that's not right. Oh, there's always something. You've set it all up and it's all ready to go, and for some reason it's not working. I was there. One moment.
Or I can help Dr. David if you.
No, I'd rather. Why on earth is that not showing me my PowerPoints? Oh, wait a second. I see what's happened. Sorry. There's always something that happens.
Can do this.
Good, right. I think we're there now. So I will share the screen and we can go.
Yes, it's visible, Dr. David. Now.
No, it's not. Sorry, I apologize. I've had it up there a few moments ago and it keeps keeps going, but I'm sorting it. I'm on top of it. It is going to happen.
No worries.
I can help Dr. David if you are okay with it.
Right, I'm on it.
Yes, it's visible, Dr. David.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. David. So we formally start the program. Warm greetings to all from COSWP. I hope each one of you are happy and healthy. I take immense pleasure in welcoming you all for the first policy forum of COSWP being held today, 22nd October 2022, live and online. The agenda for today's policy forum goes this way: welcome and Commonwealth context, COSWP evolution, questions and comments, honored Commonwealth Social Worker Award, COSWP activities, questions and comments, COSWP governance, questions and comments, and next steps. Yes, the welcome. We'll go to the next slide. Introductions and setting the context. Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Martin Luther King Jr. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day to all those who are present here for this first policy forum of COSWP. On behalf of the board, I welcome the president of IFSW, Mr. Joachim Mumba, and all other dignitaries from IFSW. I welcome the awardees and their family members for today's session. Welcome, dear professors, practitioners, students of different institutions, organizations from all over the globe for this policy forum. Last but not the least, I welcome our own board members to this policy forum and also the supporters of COSWP. Welcome all. So with this, I'd like to introduce our board members, starting from Dr. Sylvia Daisy, myself. Dr. Sylvia Daisy Romanus is the chair of the Commonwealth Organization for Social Work. She works as an associate professor at Madras Christian College in the Department of Social Work, Self-Finance stream. She's the Innovation Ambassador, MCC Institution, Innovation Council, and Government of India. She's a member of the Community Advisory Board, the National Institute for Tuberculosis Research, ICMR, and honored as social scientist by the National Foundation for Liver Research. Next, we find Monique. Monique is the executive board member of COSWA. She is a registered social worker in Canada. Monique has held senior level positions as executive director and CEO of organizations focused on children, families, homelessness, domestic violence, and addiction. She was appointed to the Alberta Family Violence Death Review Committee by the Alberta Government Ministry of Family and Child Services, and sits as an advisory member of the Global Institute of Social Work. She also worked for Oxfam and the Canadian Department of Foreign Affairs as a landmine ambassador. Next, we find Dr. Godfred Boham. He is the executive board member of COSWA. He represents UK and he is the honorary treasurer of COSWA. Then we find Dr. David N. Jones, the popular personality. He is the executive board member of COSWA and main representative to the Commonwealth institutions. He is a member of the British Association of Social Workers Council. Dr. David is a qualified social worker with extensive national and local government, NGO, and private sector experience. He was president of the International Federation of Social Workers, IFSW, and global coordinator of the Global Agenda for Social Work and Social Development. His doctorate researched evaluating the quality of social services. He is a trustee of children and families across borders and has published and spoken extensively on social work practice and management in the UK and overseas. Next, we find Charles Magua. He's the executive board member of COSWA. He's a frontline social work practitioner with long and extensive experience, having worked in other countries in Africa. He's a past president of the International Federation of Social Workers, IFSW, in Africa. He's a representative of IFSW at UN Habitat and is the co-chair of the General Assembly of Partners Older Persons Constituent Group. Next, we have Ms. Janice Christiansen-Wood. She's the executive board member of COSWA. She's a registered social worker in Canada. She is past president of the Canadian Association of Social Workers and of the North America region of IFSW. And she is a board member of the Canadian Association of Social Workers. Jan's career has focused on child welfare. She was the first social worker hired as a special investigator by Manitoba's chief medical examiner. Next, we find Ms. Sharon Rose Gittins. She is the executive board member representing Barbados. She's a qualified social worker and a former registered nurse who joined Barbados Welfare Department in 1999. She's the past chair of the Barbados Association of Professional Social Workers. She's a member of the Barbados Social Justice Committee and has been a part-time lecturer at University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus. Next, we find Mr. Joachim Mumba, most popular personality today among the social fraternity especially. He is the executive board member of COSWA representing Zambia. He is a qualified social worker with extensive working with local and international NGOs in Zambia. He has been Secretary General and Chief Executive Officer of the Social Workers Association of Zambia. Mr. Joachim served as IFSW Africa region representative on the Ethics Commission and is currently Global President of IFSW. Next, we find Dr. K.S. Ramesh. He's the Executive Board Member of COSWA representing India. He is one of the steering committee members of Tamil Nadu State Professional Social Work Council, Deputy Director at Banyan Academy of Leadership in Mental Health, and co-lead of Center for Social Care Needs and Livelihoods at the Banyan. He was a president of Professional Social Workers Association, Chennai, co-founder and secretary of the Alumni Association of Madras School of Social Work, patron of Journal of School Social Work, mentor for CII Women Exemplars, State Steering Committee member of the National HIV/AIDS Bill, contributed to TB HIV co-infection policy and drafting committee member for Tamil Nadu State Youth Policy. Next, we have Ms. Naomi. She's the executive board member of COSWA, representing Australia and the Pacific. Currently, Naomi works for the NSW government as a specialist counselor. She was adjunct academic for Charles Sturt University, convener of SWITS, social workers in the Shohelwen, largest practice group in Australia, vice president and longest serving member of NSW, Australian Association of Social Workers, director on branch Australian Association of Social Workers board for 4 years. Next, we find Mr. Theo. Mr. Theo is the executive board member of COSWA, representing Malaysia. He is a senior lecturer at the School of Applied Psychology, Social Work and Policy, College of Arts and Sciences, University Utara, Malaysia. He served as the president of the Malaysian Association of Social Workers, member of the technical committee to improve social work professionalism in Malaysia, special project team member for the social work profession bill, and member of the management committee of the Malaysian Council on Welfare and Social Development. He was chair of COSWA in the past and currently serving as the honorary secretary of the IFSW Asia Pacific and represent the region in the Ethics Commission of IFSW, as well as serving as the honorary treasurer of the Southeast Asia and Pacific region of the International Council of Social Welfare. Last but not the least, Mr. Okiria Gerald is the executive board member of COSWA, representing Uganda. He's a professional Ugandan social worker and also a board member of National Association for Social Workers in Uganda. Currently, he works with Compassion International Uganda. He has served as the Young Carers Ambassador in East Africa under COSWA, and he's the chief editor of COSWA newsletter. So whatever information you get about COSWA is through him. So welcome all. This is about our board members. Now, setting the context. As we all know, policy is a set of ideas or plans which is used or which are used as a basis for making decisions in an organization. And policy forums are important elements of modern governance systems as they allow people to learn, negotiate, and build trust. People, the participants, are at the center in a policy forum. Formation, focusing on goals of people, and the exchange mechanisms are the three significant parts or elements of a policy forum. And COSWA is in the first phase of the policy forum, and you are invited for this online live session today to witness that. The Commonwealth and the context and the COSWA. Let me give you a brief introduction about Commonwealth and COSWA. The previous slide. COSWA has been established for citizens of the Commonwealth who are committed to the promotion and implementation of social development within the civil society of Commonwealth countries. It is recognized as a formal partner by the Commonwealth Secretariat and IFSW. The objectives of COSWA are to promote the education and training of social workers throughout the world for the benefit of the public, to relieve poverty, to promote the education of the public in matters of social policy, social organization, and social problems. Goals of COSWA are providing a Commonwealth network for information about social work and social development, providing support and sharing of technical knowledge and expertise between and amongst Commonwealth countries and their social workers, identifying and contacting people in all Commonwealth countries who will act as liaison persons for interested individuals, groups, and organizations within their countries. establishing a link with Commonwealth organizations with similar objectives, working closely with the IFSW social workers and to promote active involvement of Commonwealth social workers in international social work and social development organizations. So with this background, I leave it to Dr. David for the history of Commonwealth organization. So,
thank you.
Dr. David. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. And it is good just to remind ourselves that the Commonwealth now has 56 independent and equal countries. And while many, the majority, shared a colonial history, there are a number who were never part of that colonial history, including Rwanda and Togo and Gabon, the most recent countries that have joined. The Commonwealth has 2.4 billion people, as a mixture of economies, and it particularly amplifies the voice of small states and island states, which and particularly focused on protecting the environment in the current environment crisis. And the Commonwealth Charter promotes prosperity, democracy, and peace. COSWA itself started in 1992. We will hear about Anthony Tan in a few minutes, but he was from Malaysia, was the person. He had a Commonwealth fellowship, and he started discussions which led to a meeting in Colombo when the various Commonwealth countries in IFSW met to say, should we have a Commonwealth organization for social work? And there are different views about that. And we know in COSWA that there are mixed views about the Commonwealth and what it stands for and its history, which is difficult and complicated. But it was decided, yes, we do share interest that the Commonwealth, as far as social work is concerned, is about people-to-people contact. And so we launched the COSWA, the Commonwealth Organization for Social Work, around that time. And in 2000, a constitution was agreed in Montreal. We're registered as a company, and we've been very involved in the Commonwealth networks of around 80 different Commonwealth accredited organizations in the independent forum of Commonwealth organizations. And we are a member of the steering group building networks, and we will talk about this. We have a new website and newsletter in 2020, and in 2021, we approved a statement on human rights for all, which focused on the rights of Indigenous peoples and looked at, recognized the force of decolonization and the need to respect all people equally. And we've one of the benefits of being in the Commonwealth is that we have access directly to heads of government at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. And this year, colleagues have been in Kigali. Alice Mbiu, who was in the Women's Forum, is not in this photograph. You see on the left there. And in 2018, Chogan was in London, and you see the different places where the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting has been. 2018 was in London, and this is a picture of the late Queen opening the Heads of Government meeting, and I was privileged to be present at that ceremony, opening the Heads of Government meeting in London. And we able to sit in and watch the foreign ministers in their discussions. So the Commonwealth gives us direct access, and in receptions and other meetings, we can meet and talk with heads of government. And there are also ministerial meetings. Just yesterday, Gerald and I were in a meeting planning the youth ministers meeting in Pakistan, which is in January. So back to you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Dr. David. Can we move to the next slide?
I think this slide, Sylvia, illustrates that some of the issues that we are focusing on, that the Commonwealth has many bilateral connections. We have many diverse networks. The discourses I've referred to, And we need to have an honest, systematic history of the good and bad influences on the development of social work of our history. And COSWP is very involved in that. So I think, Sylvia, we're asking for any questions or comments, and I've suggested they should be put in the chat in the first instance. I don't see any questions in the chat at the moment.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions to ask about that history and where we've come from? And
excuse me.
Uh,
Yeah, my
yes.
name is Muthuvel. Yeah, my name is Muthuvel. From Chennai, in
Hello.
Tamil Nadu state. Is it audible?
Yes, you are audible, Mr. Muthuvel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you started 1947, I am right? You are 1992. No, actually there is a 56 years you are independent in the social worker. I'm right. I'm right.
That's a Commonwealth body. When
Okay.
it started, that's the history that we started.
Okay. And what are the challenges you have faced when you are implement the program, and how to overcome the every scenarios? Give any example for that most difficulty challenges in the particular programs.
Yeah,
Did you face any? Yeah,
we will.
forward.
Thank you. It is helpful if people can try and put questions in the chat, but the rest of the presentation, we will talk about our activities and what we have been doing and some of the challenges. So if you can hold your question, and we can come back to it later on. Obviously, one of the key issues is that COSWP has virtually no money. We have a very limited budget, and we have it is all dependent on voluntary activity. So we have to be realistic about what we can achieve. But you will see there is a lot happening. Sylvia?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. David. Thank you, Mr. Muthuvel. Kindly post your comments, feedback and questions in the chat box so that we will be able to answer. Listen to ideas from others, talk to them, get their feedback, their ideas, their creativity, says Richard Templer. I'm happy that the audience are keen, interested, curious to know about COSWP and its activities. I definitely will respond to your queries and questions. Thank you. Next, we move to this honored Commonwealth Social Worker Award. So I think we have midst of us Mr. Theong and Ms. Fiona. So Commonwealth is happy to recognize the social workers who have made a significant contribution to social work in the Commonwealth, working with COSWP. So first, we are happy to honor Mr. Anthony Tan. The award to Anthony Tan is given posthumously. Anthony died in 2013. He graduated from the National University of Singapore with a degree in social work in 1974. He contributed towards the development of Montfort Boys Town in Singapore and in Malaysia, until he moved on into the business and corporate world. He served 2 terms as president of the Malaysian Association of Social Workers in 1987, 1989, and 1997-1999, and Malaysian Association of Social Work on the IFSW Asia Pacific Committee. He received a Commonwealth Foundation Friendship Award in 1992, the first social worker within Commonwealth countries to win the award. The following year, he inspired a series of meetings working with another, David and Jones, resulting in formation of the Commonwealth Organization for Social Work, which he chaired for a few years. COSWP would not exist without Anthony's enthusiasm, commitment, and drive. It is sad that he did not live to see the flourishing of his creation, and we remember him with gratitude. I would be happy if one of the COSWP members would be able to share about Anthony Tan. Probably Theo, shall I invite you to share a few words about Mr. Anthony Tan?
Hello, Theo. Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. I'm Theo from Malaysia. Yeah, Anthony Tan was my our president in the 80s and 90s. And he was very instrumental because he came from a very non-profit and organization perspective. And because of his enterprising nature, he also ventured into business later in his second phase of his career. But for the Malaysian Association of Social Workers, we are proud that Anthony Tan has been honored with this Commonwealth Social Workers Award. We cherish his contribution, and we will always remember him as one of our great leaders in advancing our profession in Malaysia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Theo. Next, we are happy to honor Mr. Terry Bamford. The award to Terry Bamford is given posthumously. Terry died following a fall in 2020, and his many contributions to social work were celebrated in many obituaries and tributes at that time. Terry was a passionate advocate of social justice, international social work, and human rights. His contribution to COSWA as a founding board member, leader, mentor, and friend will always be valued. He made a significant contribution to the International Federation of Social Workers as parliamentarian in general meetings and on human rights. He served as trusted guide and mentor to many IFSW presidents and COSWA leaders, helping to shape many global policies. He was a former chair of the British Association and had many significant roles throughout his career. Terry has left an enduring legacy and is greatly missed by all who knew him. Terry made a huge personal contribution to international social work over more than 45 years. We still miss his calm and wise advice and are pleased to make this posthumous award today.
Sylvia, Terry's wife, Margaret, is on is here. I'm not sure if she's able to speak. Margaret, can you say something?
I can see you, David. I don't know whether you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
I can see you, and I've just heard that. So thank you very much indeed. That's lovely, absolutely lovely. So thank you for including me, and thank you for sending me the link, and my very best wishes to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. We are happy that you are with us at this moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I know many of you, but I recognize, of course, all your names, but I have not met many of you either. So but I know all about you from Terry, who was very proud to be part of COSWA and IFSW, and as the citation said, did everything that was there. So thank you very much indeed. I'll stay here and listen, if I may, to the other awards and the other citations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We are happy about it. Next, we are happy to honor Ms. Fiona. Ms. Fiona served for many years as honorary treasurer of COSWA and IFSW and played a significant role in Aotearoa New Zealand Association. Fiona was a witness to the signing of the first COSWA constitutional document in 2000 and played a crucial role in COSWA from that time until her retirement as treasurer in 2020. Fiona is the walking archive of knowledge about international social work and the activities of COSWA. She is the IFSW honorary archivist. Fiona helped keep focus through more difficult times in COSWA. Fiona is qualified in financial management and is also a passionate social worker, interested in the whole range of social policy and especially committed to recognizing the rights of indigenous peoples in her home country and around the world. COSWA owes a great debt to Fiona, and she's a worthy recipient of this award. Thank you, Fiona, for being present with us at this moment. Over to you to share a few words.
Fiona, you are muted.
I'm now unmuted, team. I just want to say, kia ora tātou. Thank you for the award, but I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank everybody, past and present, who've been involved with COSWA. You make up this wonderful, unique community, and I think you all deserve an award, all deserve accolades for the work that you've done and the work that you're going to do in the future. You're right. I helped David do the signing of the Constitution in Montreal 2000, and treasurer until I resigned. I was probably part of a key part of COSWA that in 2001 they had a health ministers meeting, Commonwealth health ministers meeting in Christchurch, and we COSWA put this stamp on that at that point because we organised the Healthy NGO, and I was supported by Nigel Hall and Jeanette Conway. So that's an old memory that goes back. So the reason that COSWA sort of has used that basis is that we wrote heaps of policy statements, which then became the foundation for a lot more work that COSWA has done. And I think it's a stunning organisation that's done as much as it can with as little funding as it can. So, and I'm going to take this opportunity to say, in front of me I've got the February 2005 newsletter, and would make a comment about Tiong. That's the FAST project. There's the Para 55, which was Serge Paul, Anthony Tan, etc. But sitting right in the front of this newsletter is a real article which I have a lot of passion around, and I want to leave with a passing shot around policy and how we go forward. There was an article in here about the brain drain from Africa. Now suddenly we've got the brain drain from anywhere due to COVID. So I would like to encourage the Commonwealth Organisation for Social Work to revisit the brain drain of social workers out of specific countries, and look at a way that those countries who lose their social workers should somehow be financially supported or financially rewarded the fact that they've lost their trained social worker to another country, usually a more advanced country. So on that note, I'll leave my political speech behind, and say thank you very much for the award, and wish COSWA very well for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. Happy that you were part of this ceremony today. Thank you. So next, we are happy to honor Mr. Nigel Hall. Nigel grew up in Zimbabwe and practiced as a social worker there. He helped the professional development of many Zimbabweans social workers as a lecturer in the University of Harare. Nigel served as IFSW President for Africa and has continued to support IFSW activity, working with Fiona on the IFSW archives. Nigel was a witness to the signing of the first COSWA Constitution in 2000 and remained an active board member and editor of the newsletter over many years. He was one of the first social work academics in Africa to focus on the HIV/AIDS pandemic, and he played a crucial role in COSWA. Working with BAW member Serge Paul and others, Nigel helped raise the profile of HIV/AIDS in the Commonwealth and the need for medical and social policy responses. Nigel helped sustain COSWA and the place of social work in Africa and in the Commonwealth, and we are pleased to honor him today.
I'm not sure if Nigel is here at this meeting. He may be joining the second meeting later today. Nigel, are you there? No, I did speak to him, and I think he is hoping to join the second meeting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. David. Next, we are happy to honor Tan No Tiong. Theong qualified in social work in Singapore and was co-chair of COSWA for several years following the retirement of Anthony Tan, working closely with Charles Magua. He has held many positions in social work in Singapore and the USA and has a passionate commitment to social justice inspired by his Christian faith. Theong launched the Families and Survivors of Tsunami FAST project in 2005, following the Pacific tsunamis, blazing new trail with others to highlight the role of social work in disaster response and interest which continues. He is chair of the Global Institute of Social Work, which he founded, was treasurer of IASSW 2018-2020, and active in the International Consortium for Social Development and International Council on Social Welfare. Theong was a witness to the signing of the original COSWA Constitution in 2000 and remains an active supporter of COSWA. His contribution to international social work is self-evident, and we are pleased to be able to recognize this today. Thank you, Mr. Theong.
Thank you very much, Sylvia and David. All my friends, Fiona and all the rest, Nigel. Terry Bamford was my mentor in IFSW, and Anthony Yeo was the one who initiated me into the international scene. And together we serve COSWA as well as IFSW and ICSW. And the last appointment I have is with IASSW as the World Treasurer. And I believe that social work has a great role to play in the great changes that are taking place in the world. And COSWA is part of the network that will be very important and supportive. And of course, IASSW, there's also a launch of a new book series, which I'm the chief editor for. And I hope we can also get COSWA members and others to contribute so that we can make an impact together. As David says, this is a network. We are all family and we work together, different roles, but we want to make an impact for a better world. And I believe speaking English has a great advantage in the Commonwealth, and we can also be a great influence in the different countries, especially the less developed countries. And I think that was how FAST project was initiated. It's a multilateral, organizational collaboration with IFSW, with the regional pathway, with the IASSW. And so we find that it is in working together in a network that we can make a greater impact. So I believe the future for COSWA is good. We don't have to take a very high profile. We can always take a very supportive, strong network in the approach, and we can be able to share with others. And in fact, I'm speaking right now from North Thailand, in the poorest of the poor village in Non Sambun. And we are doing a community development project here that I hope will take off. And we are in the midst of still some flooding situation and trying to work out clean water and developing agriculture-based alternate income sources for the village. So this is an exciting time. And I want to thank COSWA for this award and send greetings on behalf of Professor Anna Maria Campanini, on behalf of IASSW, wishing COSWA well and a good future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Theong.
And
It is not what a man does that determines whether his work is sacred or secular. It is why he does it, says Tozer. So today we were able to witness the work of Mr. Anthony Tan, Terry Bamford, Fiona Robertson, Nigel Hall, and Daniel Young, all of them, how much they have contributed to the social work profession, uplifting the social workers and working for the poorest of the poor. They would definitely serve as role models for the many students who are present here today for this online open forum. Thank you very much. That was a memorable moment for us. Thank you.
And Sylvia, it's the right moment also to say that we have greetings from the International Federation of Social Workers. Rory Truell had hoped to send a video greeting. He's had some technical problems, which has meant that is difficult. But the president of IFSW, Joachim Mumba, is a member of the COSWA board, and he will be bringing greetings to the second meeting.
Thank you, Dr. David, for that. So are we moving to the COSWA activities? Next, Dr. David, is the agenda. Yes. Stay focused and keep the objective in your sight at all times, whatever it may be, says Richard Templer. So the COSWA board members have been so committed to social work and had contributed their thoughts by participating in online as well as physical meetings in the past year. Several webinars have been organized, and there was participation of COSWA board members in series of discussions relating to charters which were made relating to health, the People's Charter of IFSW, and the Young Carers Charter, and so on. So the annual report has got many interesting things, articles for you. About the COSWA activities and the involvement of board members. Over to you, Dr. David.
I think Teo is going to speak now on intergovernmental Commonwealth. Teo.
Okay. Hi. Thanks, David. Yeah, this is on the in terms of COSW, as we function within the Commonwealth structure. So COSWA has been actively, or members of the board has been actively participated in Commonwealth activities. So that includes the intergovernmental activities. First of all, COSW is accredited to the Commonwealth. So that gives COSW the position to participate in various intergovernmental Commonwealth meetings. So you can hear from David, from Tiong, and also from Fiona, and some of the activities and policies advocacy which has been taken place during CHOGM, especially. Okay, so that's where David engaged with and some of our leaders managed to engage with head of governments and ministerial meetings, and also dialogue with the Secretary General of Commonwealth, and during CHOGM, and also in London, and participated in various Commonwealth consultations. As you know, that Commonwealth actually has a lot of organizations. If you Google, if you go to the Commonwealth Secretariat, you see that there's tons of Commonwealth organizations, and COSW has been involved in many of these dialogue, especially on the issue of health, mental health, children, carers, and also social welfare. Okay, so I think that has been, I think, David, you have anything to add?
No,
okay, and then
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then the secondly is about some of the projects actually initiated by COSWA. Okay, as you heard from Professor Anthony Tiong, Professor Tiong earlier, about the FAST project, which is actually a disaster response after the tsunami in 2005. Okay, that was part of the initiative from COSWA as well. And then and with David, David Jones, there's COSWA has been in what they call instrumental, in initiating the young carers activities. Okay, the young carers in this regards looks what they call that young people, yeah, children that looks after their parents or family members living with HIV. So that was some programs in Africa which was initiated, yeah, through the COSWA, and then subsequently it was recognized by the Commonwealth, and I think COSWA got some financial what they call get some financial aids to enhance that program, and now they have pushed for, they already have the Commonwealth charter for young carers, yeah. So this is something that the project is ongoing, and this year, yeah, early this year during the World Social Work Day, also the COSWA also have collaborated with the Commonwealth Institute, the Institute of Commonwealth Studies, to run the comparative history of the development of social work across the Commonwealth webinar. I think during the COVID, because of the online webinar, so this makes the project possible. So we hope that all this project will continue, yeah, and continue to inspire the social workers from across Commonwealth to continue to participate, and also to give ideas of what are the things that, you know, what are the projects that can benefit the Commonwealth, and we can do it through COSWA. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Theo.
Naomi, I think, is going to talk about partnerships.
Beautiful. I'm all set and ready. Commonwealth partnerships. Thank you, David and Sylvia, and welcome all. It's great to have you here. Commonwealth partnerships are shared among board members. I really love being involved with people of goodwill and ability, which is what I keep finding with these partnerships. So we have IFCO, the Independent Forum of Commonwealth Organisations. David represents us on that body. The Commonwealth Health Professions and Partners Alliance, Naomi and Ramesh represent COSWA and our members on that. And we have in that meeting, we have a particular interest in access by all equitably to affordable quality health services. We don't want to go down some countries' routes of a highly commercialized and very expensive medical services. We want, and we're determined to ensure that in the Commonwealth, health services are available for all at an affordable price and great quality. So we're also members and partners with Sustainable Livable Cities Call to Action, and the Children's Cluster, the Kigali Declaration. We're very interested and committed to human rights and diversity and opportunities for enabling all to participate. Common age, we're aware that certainly in Western countries, there is a very firmly aging population, and HIV/AIDS, which is still out and about. So certainly we recognise in Australia, for example, that the largest group involved, the largest percentage of social workers in Australia, for example, is employed in the health sector. It's a particularly important group for us as social work practitioners. So unless there's something else to add, I think that covers it. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. The Kigali Declaration was approved by heads of government in the Kigali Heads of Government meeting this year, and was the first Commonwealth statement about children and reforming children's services. And that has given a platform for many of us to begin to develop a partnership to promote the interests of children within the Commonwealth. And just make that comment. Common Age is a Commonwealth organisation focused, as Naomi was saying, on older people. I think, thank you, Sylvia.
We could
Thank
keep
you.
on going.
Thank
They're
you,
very
Naomi.
interesting groups, but we've got time limits. Thank you.
Thank you for sticking to that schedule. Thanks a lot, Naomi.
So non-Commonwealth partnerships, this is going beyond the Commonwealth region. So we have a very close association with the IFSW, and currently there is a environment research project also, we are partnered with. And the schools of social work, even our founders and those who are awarded already part of IASSW, so that partnership is still continues. And the recent one we had with, along with IFSW, IASSW, and other international organizations. So we organized the People's Global Summit on an Eco-Social World. I hope all of you would have participated, presented, and things like that. So the Global Association of Public Health Professionals is something that we have started now working closely, and we had webinars held during the COVID time online. Well received at the global level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramesh, highlighting on the activities of non-Commonwealth partnerships. Thank you. So next we have Dr. David. Yeah, the questions and comments section. Yes. So I hope the audience are still curious and are thinking about the questions to be asked. Kindly post your questions, feedback, comments in the chat section.
While people are thinking, Sylvia, the activity report is available on the COSWA website. The website address will be on the screen at the end of the session. So if you wish to read about these activities, they're all there on the website.
Critical think. Thank you, Dr. David. Critical thinking requires intellectual humility, courage, empathy, integrity, and perseverance. So, my dear audience of today's Open Policy Forum, so think critically and post your comments, suggestions, questions to COSWA. We will be happy to respond to your questions. Thank you.
And I think, Sylvia, as we move into the next session, I don't see any there's a comment from Muthuvel about the ecological system, and the Commonwealth Secretariat, and the Commonwealth is very focused on climate change and the impact, particularly on the many small island states in the Commonwealth, some of whom their very future is in doubt because of rising sea levels. COSWA is, as an organisation with very limited resources and working on voluntary activity, it's really important that we have good partnerships. And so we can work together with colleagues about these issues. And if you're interested, the submission of the independent Forum of Commonwealth Organisations to the Heads of Government meeting is also on our website. And you can see there the range of issues. COSWA doesn't get involved in all of them personally, but we can support those who are specialists and bring that together. So I think we're moving on to governance and constitution, which is, Sylvia, is about how we can involve more people in the work of COSWA, and particularly in the way we're structured. So back to you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Dr. David. Vision is a long-term goal. Vision does not change. Visions are simply refined with time. So COSWA is about to bring some change in the structure and governance of COSWA. So I request the team to be prepared to focus on and present on the objectives with the new constitution of COSWP, why we need to change this, challenges for governance, key elements in the new structure. We are about to change it to a trust model and what is the significance attached to it, policy members and role of the policy forum. And questions and comments from the audience after listening to the presentation. Over to you all, team.
Jan, I think this is over to you.
Yes, my apologies. I've been very wrapped up in hearing what people have to say, and I kind of lost my place. I am a relatively newcomer to COSWP, so it's been an exciting time to come in just as all this major change has been happening. The challenges, of course, for governance are the worldwide spread of members of the Commonwealth and the potential for a global network of individuals, associations, and organizations. And this is another part of COSWP that I find very interesting, is that the membership is potentially so diverse, and the focus being both individual, association, and organization. Potentially there could be hundreds of members joining. So we anticipate growth, that this will be something that has a great appeal to members of the Commonwealth, to social workers in the Commonwealth. But combined with an anticipation of growth is the reality that financially we have a limited capacity. And at this point in time, acquiring and generating funding is a strain. I guess that's the best way to put it. So we are also interested, or COSWP is also interested in balancing inclusion against administrative capacity. And again, as a relative newcomer, I see the organization that has grown and that has had so many staunch supporters. So bringing new people in can affect the organization's capacity to administer and to continue to grow. The other issue is, of course, to balance regions, issues of gender. And again, I have to say that I am very impressed with what I've seen in COSWP about documents and actually, putting activity in issues of gender and looking at issues of minority groups. Being a Canadian, my grandparents were, I guess you'd call them economic migrants from Iceland. And we've become aware over the last number of decades of the harm that was caused to Canada's First Nations and Indigenous peoples. So as a nation, we're having to deal with that at the same time that our country grows in part because of the number of people who move in from other countries. So it makes for an interesting organization. And the balance, of course, Canada is relatively underpopulated compared to most, I think, of the Commonwealth, particularly when you look at area and possibly economic opportunity. I don't really know. So we want to remain proportionate. COSWP is not aiming to be a global representative voice of social work. There are other organizations that do that, but rather COSWP would work on improving life for people within the Commonwealth, and also gathering together social workers, their voices, their activity, and their ability to generate a better world. I'm very, very excited to be part of this group. I have met people that I've only heard about over the years. I started very late into social work. I was already middle-aged, so I'm very happy to be part of this organization and to meet people like Fiona and David and many others that I didn't know. So I think, is there another slide or have I finished my piece? No, Ramesh.
I think it's over to Ramesh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jan, for setting the context, why we need. So we looked at many models of governance within the other Commonwealth organizations. We made a survey of organization, and we finally arrived into something which is workable. We don't say it's the best model of the world, but we look at something which is workable, which goes well with our values and principles of both social work as well as the organization. So what currently we are looking at is looking closely whether COSWA has fair representation of all the nations in the Commonwealth, which is 56 nations. So we had representation at different points of time from different countries. But we believe that a representation of all nations, all times, is a crucial, need. So we are looking at having a council now, where every country has a representation in the council. And then from the council, the board members can be elected, is the next step. Again, we can look at closely on representation at different times by different countries. And there is an appointments committee that will advise, the council and the board, on their functions and, appointments. The other one is something which, we maybe it's the first time, maybe any organization may be trying out, is a national appointment groups, because when we have one member from each country, who would be that member? If you receive more than one application from the country, there may be associations who may be showing interest, individuals who may be showing interest, groups may be showing interest. So we are looking at national level appointments, groups who will recommend people from their respective countries. And the forum that currently all of us are here, where we want to open up, the policy forum to anybody who wants to support social work in Commonwealth region, who can play a role of, contributing to the policy discussions, advising, which we are looking at as a, very unique, future in any governance system, where anybody from Commonwealth region can come and share their ideas and input in the policy forum. And any governance requires subcommittees. So again, we are looking at subcommittees to manage it. Yeah, next slide. Yes. No, before this, can you, sorry, one slide is missing. Yeah. I think we have done with this. Okay, thank you. It's a new structure that we want to show it to you. There is a policy forum which advises the council, recommends, make recommendations. So every 2 years, we would like to have this. So now this is the first forum, so you can look at your calendar 2024 for the next forum. And the council that we would like to form, representing each country in the Commonwealth region, and from there the board will be elected, and the board will form a national level appointment groups who will in turn recommend a representative for their respective nation to the council. The COSW appointments committee, again from the council, who will again advise and recommend both board and the council. We hope this new structure will bring in a lot of momentum, enthusiasm, expertise, skill sets across the Commonwealth region. Thank you.
So the implementation of this new structure will require 2 years to get it in place, because the Commonwealth Council in particular will involve national involvement, and that will take some time, working with universities, national associations and other interested people. So we have an implementation schedule. I won't go through every element in detail, but you see during next year we will be getting the various elements in place, and that in 2023 we will be looking at a general meeting and the policy forum, possibly. Ramesh, it may be that we can have a policy forum next year as well as 24, that we can call for nominations for board members in 24. So it will take some time to get it in place, but what we are keen to say is that now is the time to begin thinking about how countries and territories, the 56 countries and territories in the Commonwealth, might want to get a representation on the Commonwealth Council. And that isn't easy, because COSWA is not a federation of national associations. IFSW is a federation of national associations, so there's one association, one vote for each country. But COSWA has a very open membership structure, participation, and there are universities and individuals and organizations, national associations. So this will involve some complex thinking about how to appoint a representative for each country. And that is why there will be national appointment groups that will make decisions in each country about that. So there are a number of elements, and the current board will see this through over the next 2 years. And we will then be implementing the new structure. I'd like to thank Ramesh for all the work that he's done on this and bringing all the different elements together. Is there anything else you'd want to say, Ramesh? And thanks also to Jan for her contributions and other board members. But Ramesh, do you want to wind up with anything? Because I think we next move to comments and questions on all of this. But Ramesh?
Yeah, I think already the Commonwealth as an organization has said that there are 32 small island nations which has an equal vote with any big nations like India and developed nations like UK, Canada, Australia. So I think the same principle that COSWA also would like to promote is something that I'm eagerly looking forward to.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ramesh, Ms. Janice, Mr. David, for this work, meticulously done and initiated. A positive attitude towards a particular way of thinking is the first important element of good thinking, as it provides motivation and energy needed for a given task, says Langraham. So I appreciate the steering committee members. Thank you very much. Now we move on to question answer session and comments. Over to you, Dr. David.
I don't see any questions on the Constitution. I think this is a different structure of a Constitution from other global bodies, or we've done some studies of other organizations, but we will have to see how it works and hope that it develops. I see Muthuvel is encouraging us to be outcomes focused. And that is, of course, really important. one of the big challenges in the Commonwealth is that we want to make sure that the voice of social work is heard, that organisations like architects and planners, the local government forum, parliamentary networks, and the doctors and the nurses and the pharmacists and all these other groups, that they recognise that social work has a very important and crucial contribution, and we are always welcomed by our colleagues, but sometimes being there to make sure that voice is heard is a challenge. And in an international level, what do you achieve? It's taken us 20 years to get the draft Commonwealth Young Carers Charter, for example, together, consulting young people in a range of different countries around the world. But it takes time and it's very difficult to see the outcomes. But if you don't keep trying and keep pushing, you give the space to others, and we need to have our voice in there. But measuring the outcome is always a challenge and has to be seen long term. I don't see any other questions in the chat at the moment. I was thinking, Sylvia, that it might be good, and perhaps we could do it now as we're perhaps moving to wrap up. If we could, I'll stop sharing my screen and we could ask people to put their cameras on, and we could have a photograph. Teo, you're really good at doing this. Could you get a screenshot of people, and then we will go on to what next. But I'll stop sharing for now and invite people to put their pictures on. We have 66 participants. I think we've been up to about 70 at different stages. It's good to see Charles Mbugua there in Nairobi. He's joining us to speak in the second session. If colleagues who are on the line feel that they would like to put their pictures on, and
can the audience mute Gracelyn? Can you mute Gracelyn?
Okay. Yeah, please, if you want to put your video on, I think we can go with that. Teo?
Okay, everybody, with your best smile. Okay, let me take the first picture. Okay,
thank you, Samuel. That's good to see you.
Yeah. Can I get more people here to switch on their video, so that
don't worry about your backgrounds. We are from a field level profession, so
yes,
any field is fine.
Any field is fine. Yes, I'm happy to see a few of our students here. Yes.
Okay, let's give us a bit of time for people to switch on their camera.
Thank you, Steffi. Hello. Razanaraja, thank you.
Bruce is here.
Bruce and Joseph.
Joseph.
Hold on, yeah, let me see.
Ratna Raja, Samuel Surendran, Renita. Good to see you all.
Okay, let me take.
I think that might be as good as we're going to get.
Okay. So everybody, okay, look at the screen. Okay, I'm going to take the photo now. 1, 2, wait, hold on. Yeah. 1, 2. Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay, just now another person came out. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, I got the first page. Now I'm going to the second page. Although they didn't switch on their camera, at least I can capture the names as well. Yeah.
Hello, Father Joseph from Rajagiri. It's good to see you again. Links with Edinburgh and George Palitil.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, let me see. Okay, let's take the last one. Okay, the last picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Theo. As usual, he rocks. Yes.
Okay, I probably now closed my the
Policy forum, what next?
yeah, I shouldn't
Okay, so we have very few slides. Policy forum and what next and how we are going to go about the newsletter and a formal thank you. That's it. If we
indeed.
believe that a task is too difficult, we will not attempt it at all or only give it half of our attention to it. Whereas if we believe something is achievable, we are likely to give it our best shot, says Atkinson. So this is how COSWA started with its first policy forum meeting to implement the new governance and constitution in the upcoming years. So what next? What next is going to be our different phases of implementation. So we expect the participation of the audience, social work practitioners, teachers, professors, and students in large number. Next comes the newsletter.
The COSWA has a newsletter. This is the fourth issue, was published on the 11th of October. And that is where we will put updates on implementing our constitutional changes, but also the many other issues. There are 15 pages of news in the newsletter. And if you go to our website, you can see that. So that's a crucial place. In the second meeting today, which is in 12 hours time, I think, Gerald, the editor of the newsletter, will be here to speak about that. But back to you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Dr. David. So, and now, what is going to be the plan of COSWA? So the board implements constitutional arrangements for over 2 years. So that's going to be our next step. And the policy membership opens, you can mail it to us. You can find out the details, writing to us to COSWAmember@gmail.com. Then we are going to move to this policy forum in 2023. We are going to organize this. This was very successful 2022 meeting, and we are planning for the 2023 meeting. Then current activities will continue. So all the activities that we heard from the beginning about COSWA will continue this year. Newsletter periodically will be released. The social media updates will be there, and opportunities for feedback and involvement. We are opening membership and encouraging more involvement from social work fraternity. Thank you.
Ruben, can you mute your microphone, please? We are on Twitter and Facebook, so you can see there. But if you're interested in policy membership and being involved and keeping in contact, if you write to, as Sylvia says, to COSWPolicyForum1@gmail.com, that will enable us to keep in contact with you and keep going. And I think there's the link for the website and for the email account. Sylvia, I don't see any other questions. I don't know if any other board members are interested to comment. I see Charles and Bugwa in Nairobi was there, will be joining us this afternoon for the second meeting. But Sylvia, I think we've gone through
We are
all of
done.
it.
Yes, we have, and within the time schedule. That's something great. And we have one thing left, that's a formal thank you from Mr. Theo.
Sorry, Sylvia?
Theo, yeah, a formal vote of thanks.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, thank you for joining our policy forum, the session 1 for today. Yeah. Thank you for taking your time off during the weekend. I think your participation is, has given us a lot of encouragement and motivation. Yeah, I think that is the most important, because as you know from our discussion today, COSW is still a small organization. It's a network, okay. But in a way, it gives us to access to a lot of opportunities to put forward our views, our positions, not just on for our profession, but how do we contribute to the betterment of people that we serve within the Commonwealth. Yeah, and Commonwealth as a nation of more than 56 nations now is not a small number. Okay, and Commonwealth is very unique because it has big countries and it also has very small countries, and it represents a wide spectrum of issues, and that and we feel that privileged to be able to link together and work together. So on behalf of my colleagues from the board members of the COSWA, we would like to thank everybody, okay, for sharing your views and participating, and we look forward to your kind comments and participation in the future. Thank you so much. I'll pass back to the chair, Dr. Sylvia.
Thank you, Theo. At this moment, I'd like to thank our IFSW partners for giving us this platform to organize this open policy forum. So all those who are present on behalf of IFSW, a big thank you to all. I'd like to thank the awardees and the family members who were with us throughout this policy forum discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I also thank our participants from different institutions, NGOs, and the social work practitioners from government sector, private sector. Thank you very much for your participation. You have made this event magnificent. Thanks a lot. Last but not the least, our own board members, thank you. Thank you so much for your participation, support, and whatnot. Everything. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. David, for being the pillar of support for this, initiative of COSWA. Thank you so much. And especially those who have designed the certificates for the awardees and the participants, Mr. Jude and Ms. Yasmin. Thanks a lot for your support. Thank you, one and all. With one particular note, I'd like to end today's session. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest minds. Think big anyway. Give the world the best you have. You will get kicked. Give the best to the world you have anyway. Says Kent Kate. So thank you very much. You have given us your biggest resource, the time, for being with us to discuss about the first policy forum of COSWA. Thank you, one and all.
Sylvia, thank you so much. And if you want a certificate of participation, I think you can write to the COSWA member Gmail, and we will send it to you. Is that right, Sylvia?
Yes, that is right.
Yep.
Yes, Dr. I agree.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to end the session now. Thank you, Sylvia, for steering us through and ending exactly on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Thank you all. Thank you all.
And to board members, don't forget we have a general meeting later on today. Different link.
Yes.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.